So I grew up around guns. My dad's a gun guy. My dad shoots and hunts and carries. I grew up in it and, hanging out with dad at the gun club and shooting and all of that. And then I got to be a teenager and, what teenage girl wants to hang out with dad at the gun club with all the
With
dudes?
the old guys, right?
Yeah, exactly. Shooting trap on a Saturday.
Right.
So I stopped for years, and then became an adult. And how it happened was my dad actually got my oldest child shooting.
Really?
Yeah, my dad got my oldest. He was a young teen at the time, and it was, I think, at like a Father's Day or something. Dad was at the gun club and said, "Well, why don't you come down to the gun club?" And said, "Oh, watch, your son shoot. He's actually pretty good." So
That's
shot
cool.
around a trap with my son, and I was kind of impressed with how well my son did. And my dad, as ever he can, always challenging me, was, "Your mom used to know how to shoot a gun, but she hasn't done it in years." Yeah. So I picked up a gun and I shot it again, and I kind of like looked around and went, "Why did I stop doing this?
Right.
I
This
love
is pretty
this.
cool. This is fun.
I love this. Why did I stop doing this?"
Yeah.
And then, so at the time, my gun club was running a ladies' night, where women who had never shot before could just come and pay it was like $20 and run down the line and just shoot a bunch of guns. So I went a few times to get my feet wet again. And the instructor who was running it at the time looked at me and said, "You kind of know enough here that you don't need to be the person doing that. Like,
Right.
why don't you come help me out with this?"
Wow.
So I started kind of helping her out on that line, helping these women who had never shot before, and a lot of the women, that it was a bucket list thing for them. They would
Sure.
kind of come in a little group and it was a bucket list, just want to shoot a
Right.
gun.
Get away from the husbands.
Yep. And so I started helping her with that. And I had one woman who had been a domestic violence survivor, as I was as well. And she was very nervous. And she somehow, kindred spirits find each other. And she latched onto me that night. And she was very nervous. And I talked her through it. And I got her through it. And she shot very well. And she was very excited. And said she was going to go get her license to keep herself safe, because she's still worried about her safety. And that was the moment I had an epiphany and said, "I want to do this.